Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. This is Yankee and the Brit. We'll talk some free agent frenzy, but we're going to focus in on the AFC and NFC North team needs today. But crazy movement.
Yeah, as always at the start, I don't understand why the NFL have said, "Oh, we don't allow tampering and stuff like that." Like you clearly do. So let's just stop pretending and let's
Well,
just let it
they have
happen.
legal tampering for 3 days, but the combine is where the NFL just turns a blind eye. So all this shit can get worked out at the combine when everybody's in the same area.
Yeah, I'm sure they worked out that Jalen Ramsey deal pretty clearly. I was listening to Sam Motson on the PFF podcast today, and he said, "I'm really interested to hear the conversation that led to Hunter Long, the tight end, being included in that." You know, like bit of a weird, like just a bit of a weird addition, right? The guy
I
from
just had to
where's
give
he
my
from?
buddy Sam the bird.
Yeah, he's from Boston College, isn't he? Hunter Long, Boston College, and hasn't really done anything yet in the NFL. So it's interesting to how does he get included in that deal?
Well, you figure if you're the Rams and you can take young guys with potential and you don't have a first round pick but they do have 11 picks. So if they can make some moves, they can stack some depth on that team and start to get back to rebuilding and winning. And
Yeah,
McVay
the
made it
Rams.
clear he's not going anywhere, which I was very shocked of. Like I thought this might be his last year.
Yeah, the Rams have made it really clear, have made it very obvious that they have a clear eye for talent. In those third, fourth, fifth round picks, like they regular. We were talking on the show last time. That if you manage to get a third round pick as a starter, then that's a good pick. Like a third, fourth round pick becomes your starter. That's a good pick. And the Rams have that team is full of third, fourth round picks. That's how you make fuck them picks work. So Miami is going with fuck them picks, but fuck them picks only works if every pick you make in the actual draft comes off. Plus, the Rams do seem to manage to. They have a lot of They get a lot of compensatory picks because of Sean McVay's coaching tree. So they end up with a lot of picks. So that works really well for them.
Also, Darren Wooler traded to the Giants for the compensatory pick they got for Tony walking away, Kadarius Tony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Gave
that's
a
a good
3-year, $51 million contract on top of it.
Yeah, that's a good pickup by them. It gives Daniel Jones more help, which I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that, to be honest, as a Cowboys fan. I'm not particularly happy that Darren Waller's not in my division, but then I also have Daniel Jones thrown to him. And I'm a Daniel Jones fan, but he's not going to be as dangerous as he really should be. I think it's a good idea to get Daniel Jones support in places like tight end, maybe a big body wide receiver, so those accuracy issues can kind of
That's
be
Darren
taken away.
Wooler. He's got a huge catch
Yeah,
radius.
exactly.
So
Huge catch radius, massive at tight end. It's going to help them find out if Darren Jones has actually got anything, because that'll be his first legitimate receiving option, like top tier receiving option that he's had since he's been a Giant.
well, you heard it here. The East is going to be a war this year because once Lamar gets to Washington, well, I watched something that makes complete sense to me.
Yeah.
They said they're not in the market for a veteran quarterback, is what you say if you're in the market for a veteran quarterback.
100%.
Ron Rivera was very quiet, which he's not the quietest guy at the whole combine and Radio Row. And then it was brought to all of our attention that if they sign Lamar to a fully guaranteed contract, the majority of the escrow isn't due till 2024. So the new owner has to take it on. And Daniel Snyder can go, fuck you to the NFL on the way out. And if you're the new owner, why wouldn't you want Lamar? If you're paying $6-7 billion for something, you have enough money for the escrow too. Why wouldn't you want that guy to make your franchise worth even more as you're buying it?
Yeah, and Lamar Jackson gets Scary Terry, a wide receiver. The offensive line isn't awful.
Josh Dodson.
Josh Dodson. Yeah, he looked good.
running backs, offensive line, defense, and Lamar, I'm like, hey, it's a pretty scary fucking team.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing to add on top of that is Lamar actually makes their team worth going to watch. Like he makes their team more fun. I think it's an underestimated thing in the NFL. Like these teams that aren't necessarily in massive Super Bowl windows, and I think getting Lamar Jackson to Washington starts to creak open a Super Bowl window. They're so dysfunctional that maybe not right now, but 2025, 2026, when the new owners come in, maybe that's when they can push for a Super Bowl window. Like I'm not sure. But it's an underrated thing for these teams that aren't necessarily going for the Super Bowl to have that entertainment factor of Lamar Jackson in the backfield to fill stadiums so that you can keep the money rolling in and things like that. Lamar Jackson probably buys them another primetime game. Like if you look at it that way as well.
I think Lamar Jackson with Eric Bieniemy who would be willing to switch the whole system would push for the NFC or the NFC championship.
Yeah, I don't know with the Eagles in there. Like the Eagles are pretty formidable. It is always difficult to run it back though. So
Super Bowl hangover.
Yeah, Super Bowl hangover. I think you sit and you look at that division and you go Eagles, the Giants with Brian Vrabel, pretty formidable team. The Cowboys probably have the most talent on the field, but with holes coming with that as well. And just general Cowboys dysfunctionality, but always you never know what you're going to get with the Cowboys. And then you have the Commanders with Lamar Jackson, just makes that division terrifying.
Every year we hear about the Cowboys' talent.
Yeah,
it's there, but until they
it's there. It's
until
there.
they execute,
it's undeniable.
With it, it's actually just ongoing conversation that never ends. It's like I don't know if you guys know about the song that never ends in the UK, but that's what this fucking whole Cowboys thing is to me. The song that never ends.
Yeah, I just played them on a career mode in Madden and was like, holy shit, where's this? Like, oh my God, yeah, our defense is unbelievable because I threw like 3 interceptions and I'm actually all right at Madden, but Micah Parsons is really difficult to play against.
I just blamed those interceptions on the guy you had throwing the ball.
Yeah, I pressed the wrong button. You know,
it was Dak's
that's
fault.
what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be an interesting division. Lamar Jackson, I hope he doesn't come to the Commanders, but I said it. I said it a couple of weeks ago. I was like, the Commanders make so much sense for Lamar Jackson. Apart from the fact, from Lamar's point of view, so yeah, you get Scary Terry, and yeah, a decent offensive line, and Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator. That should be fun. Josh Dodson, like a lot of fun. They also have the worst treatment of players in the NFL, or the second worst treatment of players in the NFL, according to NFL players.
By week 1, though, you're going to have a new owner.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how quickly I'll be interested to see how deep the rot is in the Commanders, how quickly it'll be to flush that out. But Jeff Bezos has been hiring lawyers to go check out whether it's a good idea.
Daniel Snyder already turned away any bid from Jeff Bezos. He's not going to sell it to Bezos.
That's just ridiculous. Like, see, so you have
it has to do with a lot that Bezos owns the Washington Post, and the Washington Post has been the one that has fucking hammered Daniel Snyder.
Yeah, well, you have the fact that you have Dan Snyder choosing who he sells the football team to does not make me the most confident in a quick Commanders turnaround.
Yeah, but he knows if he doesn't do it in a timely fashion that they're going to vote to take it over and sell it.
Yeah, no. He'll do it quickly, but he'll sell it to... I think the reason he might not sell it to Jeff Bezos is he doesn't want Jeff Bezos to make him look bad.
Well, whoever comes in is going to make him look bad.
But the idea is like he can make sure that the person who comes in isn't the best candidate, so they'll make him look less bad.
That's only if the NFL owners vote to let that guy buy the team.
Oh yeah, I suppose so.
So Daniel Snyder's kind of like, he can make it difficult, but the owners have all the leverage.
Yeah. This is a lot of Commanders talk for an NFC North and AFC North team.
Yes, well, I figured we had to go through the free agency frenzy stuff first. There's a lot of stuff popping off. But let's just move into the NFC North and let's just go worst to first.
All right. So we're starting with the Bears then.
Right. And I would say the Bears' needs are quarterback and everything but linebacker at this point.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the
Their
Bears,
receiving core is solid. If they don't touch their receiving core, they'll be solid. But I still think you could use to add another guy in the draft who's potentially, a guy who can take over for DJ Moore when he refuses to re-up with you.
Yeah, I think obviously it's build a team around Justin Fields and see what you have. And I know you're going to say like we've already seen it, so we don't need to get into Justin Fields too much. But let's build a team and see what you have. Like give him like the best opportunities to succeed. It'll be the first time he has a fair opportunity to succeed since he's been at the Bears. Now, I believe he will succeed in that environment. You believe he won't.
Wait.
But
here's the problem. What is success?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking because your success for your Cowboys should be the same level of success you have for the Bears. Success for every team is, can you win a Super Bowl? And everybody else puts the bar lower for Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean, it's levels of success is in improvement towards getting a Super Bowl, isn't it? Like, I don't expect the Bears to win a Super Bowl next year. Like, there can be different levels of what?
I don't think they'll ever win a Super Bowl with Justin Fields. I'd bet my house on it.
Yeah, there's levels to the progression towards a Super Bowl, and success is improving those passing statistics. Number one, like he's got to get up to, like if they get so for my team needs for the Bears, it's offensive tackle, offensive guard, edge, D tackle, and then you can never add too many wide receivers to a team. I think. And with you could draft another wide receiver is always fun.
With the contracts they're signing in 3 years, they're going to be in cap trouble.
Yeah, I know, but we'll see.
So can they win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years?
But you can get out of cap trouble quite easily. Like it is an easier thing to do now. Like you can move the money around. What?
I said, ask the Rams how that works.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but then you look at teams like the Saints who seem to be in cap trouble every year. Like you look at
but the year after Drew Brees left, they couldn't do anything and they had to cut a bunch of their best players to get under. I'm saying at some point you got to pay the piper.
Yeah, and I think they have so many draft picks right now that they can make this team really young and they can add those pieces in. The Bears weren't even meeting the cap minimum going into this free agency window. So it is like they're overpaying for people because the agents are making them overpay for people because they know they've got that money.
And when set aside. All that big cap money's due is when you have to re-sign Justin Fields.
Yeah, so you need to find out if Justin Fields is the guy by then. And like he makes their offense looked better this year than what I thought it was going to look because of Justin Fields' running ability.
So that's my argument always, though. You make my argument for me. He will give you exciting plays that equal no wins.
Yeah, exactly. But if you build a team around him and make the throwing system easier for him, so
are you going to have somebody else throw for him?
Well, that's what I'm saying. This year, I want to give no excuses to Justin Fields. Like that's my new season's resolution. Like this year, I want the Bears
to not get here fast enough because
I want the Bears to build a decent enough team where Justin Fields no longer has. Because I want to know if Justin Fields is any good or not. Like me, like I'm in the camp defending Justin Fields, but I'm not saying he's going to be a top 5 quarterback. He's a top 10 quarterback. Like I realize that he's not played well. Like when they get into throw only positions, he can't make those plays. So I'm interested to see, but he's also in an unfair situation because the Bears have sold anybody good and a terrible. Like their roster's awful.
So I want to announce right now there's a new segment coming this football season. Every week we're going to have Maddie grade Justin Fields.
All right. I'm in. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Yeah, what I want to see is significant improvement in the throwing, and whether that's from him working on himself in the off season or from the team just becoming a bit better. Like I've gone back and looked through that draft trade even more, and I'm like, do you know what? So they were getting offered 3 first-round picks, and they decided that they wanted a proven wide receiver instead of a pick, which I think
Ryan
is
Poles says.
fair. I don't know. Like I don't know.
He
There's
got
a few.
beat up.
There's a
He
few
got beat
insiders
up
saying
for the
that.
trade he made, and so he made some shit up and leaked it.
There's a few insiders that are saying that there was 3 first-round picks on offer from
All that, but
the
all
Colts as
coming
well.
from the Bears, though. It's not coming from any of the other teams. No team admitted that they offered up 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, I mean, it's all bullshit at the minute, isn't it? Like the whole draft process is bullshit. I think their definite needs are to improve the offensive line in pass protection. I think that's really important to them. And then edge, like get
So a good
anybody.
season is what, 6 wins?
With the moves that they're making right now, I'd rather see like at least attempting to fucking get to 500, right? So like
Yeah,
8.
I don't see that even coming close.
8, 9, and like I agree. I don't see it right now either. Like I don't see it, but that's where I would want this stage of progression to be, or at least like if the start of the season is shit, then the end of the season they're winning a few games in a row, like that level, right there. And I think the main point of improvement is can Justin Fields break into the top like 20, 15 passes in the league? Because with his leg ability, then if he's in the top 20, top 15 passes in the league, then that creates a dangerous team.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm looking up because it's fucking nasty. So I want to look this up real quick.
The better schedule.
Yeah, because I don't know who their ranking opponents are, but so it's obviously Detroit, Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Broncos,
What's their last?
Raiders,
What's their last? Oh, right,
Cardinals. They're not making this easy because my phone. Kansas City, the Chargers, the Saints, the Commanders, the Browns.
Is that what's their last 4 games? The last 4 games of the season?
That doesn't come out yet. We just know who they're playing. That the actual schedule.
Oh, we don't know what the gauntlet is. It's yeah, that's difficult. It's just if they can get to those last 4 games of the season and be playing well enough to win 2 or 3 of those last 4 games of the season, then I think that's significant improvement, right?
I could see them going 0-6 in the division.
Yeah, I mean the division is stacked. Maybe with the news coming out of Green Bay, maybe not. I mean, we'll see what Jordan Love does.
In the game, in what we've seen in Jordan Love last year, he is far and away better than Justin Fields
at throwing the ball. But if his team,
and then even if he's half the runner, he's still a great running quarterback, which makes him way above Justin Fields.
I don't agree with that. I think I think Jordan Love has a.
Who goes into the draft going, man, I need to get me a quarterback that can outrun every quarterback.
Right, but I think, see, this is where we disagree every time and we get stuck. So I think that Justin Fields can throw the ball
as a quarterback.
Sorry, say that again.
What's more important, passing or running as a quarterback?
The most important thing is getting offensive yardage and scoring points. That's the most important thing as a quarterback.
So you're going into the draft. You're an Anthony Richardson guy. Then he's your number 1 quarterback.
No, because I don't think he'd get the most yardage. Like Justin Fields,
he's a better athlete than Justin Fields.
Richardson. But yeah, but Justin Fields can throw better than Anthony Richardson, and Reed's defense is better than Anthony Richardson.
You just said that getting yards and points is all that matters. Anthony Richardson is way more talented than Justin Fields athletically.
Yeah, but you can't. I don't think that teams can fully sell out on Justin Fields only running the ball. Like teams have to give some respect to the deep route.
You're trying to say that Justin Fields is a far and away better passer than Richardson.
I think Justin Fields is a better passer than Richardson. I think he showed it in college.
Maybe a little.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just like I think you do Justin Fields' arm a disservice. His accuracy is garbage, but his arm talent is decent.
Okay, so he can throw it a country mile. You know how many guys came through the NFL that can throw it a country mile?
I think I just want to see. I want to see what they do with a decent wide receiver room and an
I think you
offensive line that
literally
can actually
just said
pass block.
Justin Fields was better than Jordan Love.
Justin Fields is better than Jordan Love.
No, he's not.
All right, we'll see.
Jordan Love
This
can
season, we'll find
throw.
out.
Jordan
This season,
Love
we'll
can
find
throw.
out.
He's accurate. He's got pocket presence, which Justin Fields has none of those things.
This season, we'll find out.
All right,
We'll
so
find
our
out
new
this season.
segment.
I'm excited.
I'm gonna grade Jordan Love. You're gonna grade Justin Fields every
All right,
week.
we'll call the segment Justin Field versus Jordan Love.
You know what? Let's just do this. We're gonna grade every team from every quarterback from our divisions. We don't have to spend a lot of time. We'll just go and give them grades and why and move on. Because I think you guys have a great division to judge the quarterbacks too.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's a lot of questions about the quarterbacks in our league too.
We can figure out how
Dak
we'll do
versus,
it. We'll come up
Dak
with some
versus
criteria.
Daniel. Dak versus Daniel, Fields versus Love. That's the questions that we've got going.
Once Lamar gets there, you're going to want to throw him in there.
But then it's Lamar versus Jalen, though, isn't it? Dak Prescott becomes the third best quarterback in the division at that point.
I do like. Here's my thing. This is going to get me killed. I love Lamar, but I would take Dak over Lamar. Not saying that Dak's better, but Dak throws better.
Dak throws better and is available. It's the availability
and it goes along with what I was saying about Jordan Love and Fields. Dak throws better and is athletic enough for me.
Yeah, Dak can't really run anymore. Like he can run, he just really, really chooses not to.
But I'm just saying, like that was my argument with Jordan Love. He can take off and pick up yards. He's just not going to run like Lamar and them. So to me, I would take Dak over Lamar only because of the passing.
The Lamar versus Dak questioning is like the tier, like the same argument, but a tier above.
Here's the thing. I would grade Lamar as a way better quarterback if we were doing the top 10, but in my team, I would rather have the guy who moves the ball around, can throw, that kind of thing, where Lamar can do that stuff, but he's a lot quicker to just take off.
Yeah, I think it's really different to, like, if you surround a guy with weapons, you just want him to ship it off to the weapons, right? Like if I'm choosing who to go to the Bears last season where they have no weapons, I'd rather have a guy who is the weapon. So
would
Lamar
you rather
Jackson,
have Lamar
Justin
or Dak
Fields.
right now?
In the Cowboys, I'd rather have Dak. At the Commanders, I'd rather have Lamar.
See, and they think I'm crazy, but I'd rather have Kirk in Minnesota than Lamar with the system we run.
Yeah. That's just the way it goes. And people are like, oh, if you want a game manager, you're paying this much.
Lamar
Prescott and Kirk Cousins can win you games off their own backs as well.
Lamar is way more talented than either of those guys athletically.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm not shitting on Lamar. Yeah. Dude is worth every penny that any team pays him. But with the system our teams run, I think we're better off with quarterbacks who stay in the pocket and throw.
Yeah, and
I wish Kirk had more wiggle to him. I wish Kirk could pick up a couple more first downs. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, and if Lamar's available every game, then I'd be tempted to take Lamar then as well, because you can.
I think he sat out a lot of last year because he didn't have guaranteed money too. So
yeah, I think this season we'll find out. This season we'll find out how much of it is system for Lamar. Like how much do you need to entirely redo your entire offensive system for Lamar Jackson?
So let's move on to the Lions. And I'll be completely honest. I'm going to make it completely simple. Defense. They just need speed on defense.
Yeah, I mean, cornerback is number one, isn't it? But they've just picked up Sutton, so
right.
We're just picking up Sutton. That's really good. I mean, you can in this league where it is right now, you can never have enough young cornerbacks, and you can never have enough young wide receivers. Like they're the two positions where, and it's always worth taking a quarterback in round 4, 5, 6, 7. But if you're there in rounds 4, 5, 6, 7, you don't have, like, I wouldn't say the Lions should have any glaring holes now that Sutton's kind of there, like nothing ridiculously glaring. They can just like spend those last picks. Yeah, exactly. But like linebackers in the draft as well. Like that's something
Well,
that you can take.
they
There.
just need speed. We talked all last year how they were the slowest defense. They need
Slow.
guys who can actually get to the ball.
Yeah, like a crazy. Like what they need is basically just go in and just look at the guys who are ridiculously fast
They're going to
at the
need a
linebacker
receiver if
position.
they don't re-sign DJ Chark too.
Yeah, they're gonna need a receiver. I mean, could they do with bringing in kind of? I know he's not particularly quick anymore, but a guy like Bobby Wagner, I mean, might be a good fit for them. Has Levante David re-signed yet? I don't
Well,
think so.
Bobby Wagner would be an upgrade at middle linebacker anyway. And
Van Der Esch is still out there.
DJ Chark's a guy where I don't understand why they haven't a deal done because I know there's rumblings of OBJ to Minnesota. I'd rather have DJ Chark just because he's younger. He's younger though, and we got
Yeah.
JJ. So I would just rather have a younger guy who's got more years left on the tires. I don't want to get in cap hell again now that we're finally out of it.
Yeah, definitely. And how useful is OBJ going to be if you have JJ there as well? But I mean, you have the LSU connection there. But
Well, you can only double team one of them guys, maybe two. So with
Yeah.
KJ Osborne there also, I think that'd be a solid receiving core. But with OBJ, you're banking on the next couple years. You sign DJ Chark, you're like, okay, I got this kid for 5 years.
Yeah, 100%. There's a few guys in free agency that the Lions could go for. Bobby Wagner would be a good pickup, I think. Like bring an extra bit of leadership to that dressing room would be good. Somebody who's won would be always good to take to Detroit. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's available. He's on the market.
He'd be they're looking for a number 2 because of which Jameson last year. They're expecting him to be the number 1 receiver, and then they already got St. Brown, so they got 2.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, they
really need a third,
right?
Which JJ Smith-Schuster fits perfectly. I mean, Adam Thielen's out there. He fits well to that role.
Well, Adam said he only wants to go to a contender because he's old. He wants a chance at a ring. I think he ends up with Kansas City or maybe follows Aaron to New York because they're such good friends or that kind of thing. I think he's going to be looking for a team like Buffalo, maybe go link back up with Diggs.
Yeah. What do you think that? Hang on. You don't think the Lions are a contender right now?
Not for the Super Bowl, no.
Have you not seen like Facebook pages like NFC Elite and everything or anything like that?
Yeah, because
the Lions are.
That's where I get my NFL news from is Facebook groups.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like the Lions. I think they're a contender to win the division. I think this division it's the same as the NFC East in a way, where it's like I'm not really sure that these are the 4 best teams in the NFL. Like, I don't think the Eagles, I don't think they're going to be the best teams in the NFL next year. But if the Commanders get Lamar, they're all on an even kilter, and you kind of look at it and you think, oh shit, maybe the Lions are on an even kilter in the NFC North. I think guys in the draft they can really attack wide receiver in the draft.
Well,
do you know where they pick in the draft?
The Lions?
Yeah.
6 and then something else because they got that 5 and then 6 and then they have the Rams first round draft pick from the Stafford trade. I do want to say though, while I'm looking this up, you heard it here first on March 14th. The Lions at best 9 wins.
You think they're finally gonna be tired of Dan Campbell, don't you? That's the.
I think they all. I think what people are failing to realize is I think they
overachieved last year. Yeah.
So the Lions are at 6 and 18.
6 and 18. Yeah, well, I mean, so they probably take what they probably saw at their cornerback conversation at 6, right, with Gonzalez. That's what I would do if I was them.
If he's sitting there, I got him as minus quarterbacks, one of the 3 best players in the draft.
Yeah, so he should really be sitting there at 6, right? Because
the only reason I don't have Joey Porter Jr. above him is because he's handsy. They let you be handsy in college. I don't know if that Maybe he can stop doing it in the NFL, but that's the only thing that makes me nervous about Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, it's you have 1 and 2 that are going to be quarterbacks. 3 is going to be Will Anderson, probably, if Carter's
I would go
stuff
with
doesn't
Carter,
clear
but
up.
that
It
Carter,
depends it depends how that ends up. Which is
they're
why
only
the
charging him
Bears.
with misdemeanors.
Like he's not. It seems like he wasn't guilty of anything really. Like in that situation,
Being a dumbass is what he was guilty of, and somebody tragically lost their life.
Yeah, which makes you come down. The draft board, unfortunately. So the Bears moving back to 9 might actually still be able to get Carter, which would be interesting. But
I don't think there's any way he gets past Las Vegas, but that's just me.
Yeah. But so you have the Colts at 4 who are going to take a quarterback, and then at 5 you have.
I just had it up. Let me pull it up quick. At 5 we have Denver Broncos or Seattle Seahawks way at Denver Broncos.
Okay.
See, I don't think Carter gets past them either. They have they don't have a problem taking guys with blemishes.
Yeah, because you can take Carter or you can take Gonzalez there. And then at 6, the Lions should have a choice of Gonzalez or Porter Jr.
Or Joey Porter Jr. if that's who you think is better, because he athletically he probably
or if Gonzalez is
a little
gone.
higher.
Yeah, or if Gonzalez is gone. And then their next pick is at 16, right? So you have
18.
So Jackson Smith and Jigba might fall that far with his injury issues, but you could also have Nathaniel Tank Dell.
You could actually maybe get Gonzalez at 6 and Porter Jr. at 18 and sure up your fucking secondary for years.
Just double up. Yeah, double up on
that.
If
you need it, it's not a problem. And we'll get to it with the Vikings, but that's something I think the Vikings should do in this draft is double up on corners.
Yeah, I mean, if you that's probably not what they're going to do. Probably if it gets to the point where Anderson or Carter is available to them at 6, they take that and then
don't you at 18 take best player available, just hands down, because you just got a stud at 6.
Yeah, 100%. When you have two in the draft, Dell.
Maybe you trade back, pick up more picks, and still stay in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even need to stay in the first round to completely sort out their options, though, do you? If you could pick up the top of the second.
That they haven't released names, but there's a couple players in the draft that the Vikings would be willing to move up for.
Yeah.
There's no way you're going from 23rd to the top 10. With 23rd to 18 with the Lions, and we've done draft day trade, TJ Hawkinson trade. So, there's workability there, too. So maybe that's something that's possible, too. You trade back to 23, pick up a 3rd-round pick or something.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? Picking at 18 is a really, really nice spot for the Lions his team needs, especially after they've got.
I want to state this. When I said 9 wins, I think the Lions are coming. I think they're coming as a team. I just think they peaked a year early. So where they get this year will be 9 wins, and then they'll keep progressing from there. I think they just peaked early, so they're going to hit a little plateau, and then they'll take off again. I wasn't shitting on the Lions, though. I thought about what I said in my head, and I'm like, I think it really sounds like I'm shitting on the Lions, and I'm not. I think they got a lot to be happy for. And you can make the playoffs at 9 and 7.
Yeah, I mean, they can really fit, the Lions can really pick up somebody good at that 18 spot. I'm just looking through who might be available, but the wide receiver class is average. Everybody in it is average.
Well, yes, as you get, it's not top heavy, but there's a lot of really solid players.
Yeah. So
they're going to go late 1st, 2nd, 3rd. You're still going to get solid players.
But you've got to think that one of Jackson and Jigba will definitely be there at 18 if you're comfortable taking his injury issues, which they did with Jameson Williams. So you're looking at that. But then one of Quinton Johnson, Zay Flowers, and Jordan Addison might make it down that far. Josh Downs, maybe. And when if you look at their wide receiver room as well. So if you have Jameson Williams, if you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, then a guy I would love the idea of Dell, Tank is his nickname, going there. He's 5'10", 165 pounds, but runs a 4.4 or 4.3 or something like that. The 4.4 is nothing. He runs a 4.3. So you have like you take a guy like that, he fits in really, really nicely in that thing. You're probably taking him
So
hopefully mid-second round, maybe.
Tankton of ESPN has, this is just quick, it was on there on the same site I was reading, has them at 18 taking tight end Michael Meyer, Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's taking best player available there, isn't it?
And it's replacing TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, replacing TJ Hawkinson. It is a whole. It's not
To me, he's
like
the best tight end in the draft, though. So if you get him at 18, it's a fucking steal.
Yeah, it's a stacked draft at tight end as well. I mean,
Anything
another
you
question
can do to help Jared Goff, I'm all for too. But you need
that's why.
defense.
That's why I was just about to move on to like, is Jared Goff your guy? And it sounds like he is the guy. Like they've not been in anything. They've got two first
year or two, right? At least.
Yeah, they've got 2 first-round picks to play with, and they're not in the chats of any of these free agency trading quarterbacks, right?
That's when they shock you and take Will Levis, right? Like that's.
That's I more meant like, why aren't the Lions being called on for Lamar Jackson more with their 2 first-round picks right now? Like if they turn those 2 first-round picks into Lamar Jackson this year, then that's worth it, right?
And because of the way it's set up, they don't even have to give up the number 6 pick. They could
give one next
year because it's their pick, so it's 18 and then next year, and they could keep that 6th pick.
So that, like, it's a surprise that they've not been mentioned more in that thing. But then you look at Jared Goff's stats, you have like a 65% completion rating is not great. Like this is last season's stats, but 65% completion rating, 4,438 yards, 29 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions, and a 99.3 passer rating, close to perfect. Like that's his. He also has a Super Bowl appearance in his belt. Like he seems to. This whole idea of Sean McVay was babying him at the Rams, which I mean he was, but it seems to have rubbed off on Jared Goff, and he seems to have picked up this system very, very quickly.
Yeah, I think the Lions are up and coming. I just think they were overachievers last year, so they plateau, hit about 9-7 with a chance for the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what they do in addressing those team needs, right?
So let's talk about the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers on to the Jets. They did a good job with a young receiving core last year, bringing them on from the draft. I think they need to add probably a vet receiver. And then I think you just go to work on that defense. I think you have the pieces on offense, maybe late round depth for the line, that kind of stuff. But I think you just go to work on that defense, get another receiver in there and go to work on the defense.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Packers, you have I've got written at the top, I've got run it back or blow it up. And that question has kind of been answered for them because Aaron Rodgers is leaving. It's like Aaron Rodgers is gone, right? It seems that way. So if you're blowing it up, they don't really have many players to get rid of now in terms of like creating cap space, getting draft capital, because the guy who was taking up all the cap space was Aaron Rodgers. And they don't really have many tradable assets. Like maybe they could get something for Jair Alexander would be a way that I could maybe look at getting some more draft capital. But then that's just a total rebuild. And
I'm not giving up one of the best young corners in the league anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're allowed. People have this thing when it's blow up, right? It's blow everything up, start again, and it's like no, you can keep.
It's a retool. It's not a rebuild because they started it last year.
Yeah, and I mean you can keep pieces in a blow up and start again. You can keep pieces like the Rams don't need to get rid of Stafford, Kupp, and Aaron Donald to rebuild. Like they need to get rid of other people around that, but you can still build shit in with that. They have. I'm pretty sure they're middle of the road on picks. This year, I think their team needs are.
Well, let's see what they get from the Jets too. They're going to get.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be 2/3, but that's just me guessing.
Yeah, which actually isn't bad picks for what their needs are. Like what I'm looking at now is their biggest need is to answer the QB question with Jordan Love. Let's give Jordan Love the best opportunities to succeed, so we're not left with any questions at the end of the year as to whether he's the guy or not. You can add.
So Justin Fields gets 3 years and Jordan Love gets 1 year.
No, but you don't want to end up in the situation that the Bears have with Justin Fields, is what I mean. So, like, Justin Fields, but that's why you don't want to end up in the situation that you're with Justin Fields, because you don't want them to be left with, you don't want to have people like me saying, oh, but his team's shit, so how can he do anything?
They're going to pick
Jordan
up
Love
his
the best
5th year option too, so they'll have him for at least 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I would, like, give the guy the time. Like, but you want to be able to answer that question at the end of this season, maybe over to the end of next season. But now Justin Fields is going into his 3rd year without really that question being fully answered. You have wide receiver. I think they could pick up another one there, but then they desperately need somebody on the edge. Like, desperately need somebody on the edge, and they need to get younger. They need to get younger in the offensive line, and with who's their tight end? What's his name?
Tonkatari. Takatari.
No, that's not, is it? All right, but anyway, whoever it is, he's leaving. He's leaving, so they could probably do with a tight end as well. In this deep tight end class, that'll definitely help Jordan Love out as well.
I know I'm right, and you still have me questioning myself. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Tunyon. My bad. Tunyon.
We're getting confused.
I watch Pat McAfee too much, and they switch people's names to be funny. Like, they don't call Davis Mills. They call him Dougie Mills.
Yeah, I mean, that's like.
So I actually slipped on a podcast last year and called him Dougie
Mills. Warboy Dougie Mills. What have you got as the Packers' needs?
I just say work on that defense. Make sure you lock Gary up long term. And I give the Packers 10 wins.
Yeah, 10 wins going in if they fix, like right now, or if they fix.
By the time they're done. Yeah, because they have a lot of young guys that people outside of the team or the division don't see, and they think they need more room filled than they do. I think they're fine at linebacker. I think they'll bring in another edge rusher. I think they started this rebuild last year and the year before, and I don't think people really saw it the way that they were doing it. And you need another vet receiver, and you probably need to draft another receiver. But you brought in Dobbs and Watson last year, which I think are going to be the core of that receiving core, and the 3rd best quarterback in the division.
Yeah, I mean, and they come up with a decent amount of cap space as well, getting rid of Aaron Rodgers, right? Surely.
Yeah, they got to eat a fuck ton this year too, though. Something like $30 million, but they're just going to eat it and get done with it and move on.
Yeah, they can move loads of it into next year. Like if they want to sign anybody, then they can try and move it into next year as well, I guess.
So, on to the division champs, Kings of the North, the Minnesota Vikings, who came out and did exactly what I was praying they would do this offseason. Got rid of aging bad contracts, even though they were team favorites, and Kendricks and guys let Thielen go. But they turn around and sign Josh Oliver, who I did a lot of fucking research on yesterday. PFF has him the number 1 blocking tight end in the league. Says he's very athletic. He can actually catch. And the problem is the Ravens only put him out on 36 passing plays last year, which again goes back to the argument we made last year that their offense is too easy to figure out. And every time Oliver came on the field, you knew it was a run. But that's not about the Ravens. I'm excited, though. They signed fucking Marcus Davenport, and I know people are going to hit him with his sacks last year. Though he didn't have as many sacks, he had 30 quarterback pressures and 16 quarterback hits. That's huge.
Yeah.
I think he was a great signing. They're going to play him 3-4 D end on passing downs, and they're going to move him in, on running downs, and they're going to move him into the base on passing downs. He's going to be one of the D tackles to get to the quarterback. I think right now the Vikings are in a great spot. They re-signed Bradbury for $15 million for 3 years, which was a fucking steal.
Yeah, great re-signing.
We have good young linebackers right now. They're keeping Jordan Hicks, but they still need linebackers and corners. That's where the Vikings need to focus. And I think they'll end up with a veteran corner before free agency's over.
Yeah, they just need to desperately get younger and faster on the defensive side of the ball.
Which they did by contraction already.
Yeah, because they've got because
you guys got with the linebackers now, you got Asamoah and Troy Dye, who are going to be your starting young linebackers who are fast.
Yeah,
you got. I love Patrick Peterson, but he out of his own words yesterday said that when he got the deal from the Steelers, he went to the Vikings and said, "Will you match this?" And they said, "We love you, but we can't."
Yeah, I mean, it might be good for them to. It'd probably be good for them to head into the draft and pick up an edge. Is what I've got. They're losing on the edge, so they need to have more edge receivers. Maybe edge receivers by committee. Maybe pass rush by committee might be the way that they want to go.
You mean edge rushers?
Yeah.
Oh, you said edge receivers. You confused me.
Oh, damn it! Sorry. Edge rushers. Yeah. Edge rushers is definitely what they need. I would hope to get younger pretty much everywhere on the defensive side of the ball, younger and faster. But as you said, I think their moves are really spot on. The way that they've gone about it. It's interesting to see what's happening with the running back situation. With Dalvin Cook, definitely being kept on.
He's staying.
But them also wanting to take. Does that mean they're getting rid of Mattison? Is that what's happening?
Well, he's not under contract.
He's so they're not resigning. So they won't be resigning Mattison.
Right. They're going to stick with Cook. And it reports this morning, Harrison Smith's going to take a pay cut to stay. But I have to push back on you because you guys just, again, don't watch the Vikings and follow them as much. Patrick Jones III, Villena, and Wanham are their edge rushers who last year actually all had decent sack numbers and got better and better as the year went on. So I actually think they're good on the edge, even if they let go of Zadarius Smith.
Yeah, I think well, you could never have.
And they already have Daniil Hunter, and then they brought in Marcus Davenport.
Yeah, I mean,
without Zadarius Smith, that's 5 edge rushers. How many are you going to keep?
Yeah, it's a fair point. I mean, their real need is on the defensive side of the ball is cornerback. But I feel like they just need to get faster and younger, which, as you've said, is them getting rid of those guys on the ball. Now, yes, those guys have come in and had decent sack numbers and stuff like that. How well are they going to do when they're the focus of the defense this year?
Wanna balled out his last year under Zimmer as the starter with no Everson Griffin. And Patrick Jones II has been primed to be our replacement there since he was drafted 2 years ago.
Well, that's exciting times. Another person that you need is a wide receiver too. Now that Freeland's gone,
3.
I like Osborne. I like KJ Osborne, but you want a wide receiver too, right? Like you want somebody a bit better than KJ Osborne at wide receiver.
Did you watch him play last year and see his numbers?
Yeah, he was great.
3.
He was great. Going to be an amazing.
And that's playing wide receiver 3.
Right, but you could have okay. So a wide receiver 2 or 3, then you could have DJ Chark. That would be nice. Odell Beckham, Juju Smith-Schuster, and then you're going into into proper 3 territory. Jarvis Landry.
Better than Chark and Juju.
Right. Okay. Well, then a 3. Then a 3. Okay, like a really high level wide receiver 3.
You do need another wide receiver. I wouldn't be arguing if you'd have just said wide receiver.
You can have if we're looking in more 3 territory, then for cap reasons and things like that, then you can hit up someone like Paris Campbell, McCall Hardman, Jarvis Landry's still out there. Do you know what? A name that I've just seen that I really rated last year is, oh my God, Noah Brown's been signed by the Houston Texans.
Hey, the Texans been making some moves.
Oh, that's upsetting. I really like Noah Brown as well. Fuck. Olamide Zacharias. Did you see any of his plays this year?
I don't know.
Every time I saw him, he just popped off the screen for me. I don't even know who he plays for. No one now. He's a free agent. But yeah, like a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, somewhere like that. Taking a punt on a wide receiver in the draft, I don't think would be a bad thing for the Minnesota Vikings.
Lions agreed to terms with John Compsey, bringing him back, 2-year deal, $8 million.
Nice. What about a guard?
Oh shit!
Breaking news.
Eagles have agreed to terms with running back Rashad Penny. Have fun. They just upgraded their running back.
He's always injured anyway, so that should be fine.
Yeah, he's going to the Eagles where they actually know how to work on players.
I know. The Eagles are too good. That's not fair. That's not fair. You can't have that offensive line and then add Rashawn Penny behind it. That should be against the rules. Tony Pollard's still a fucking free agent as well. We haven't got a deal done for Tony Pollard yet.
That's because nobody else is going to really offer him what you will with that ankle.
Oh, yeah.
I hate to say this, but the best thing that happened for the Cowboys was him breaking that ankle.
Yeah, it basically destroyed our entire offense.
But it made it so nobody wanted to really pursue him in the offseason like they would have otherwise.
Yeah, it meant next year that it meant that this year we will have him to run our offense again.
All right.
You guys could do it. Like, surely you guys could do with somebody in the offensive line as well, right? Your offensive line has got better, but you'd surely want to be drafting
guard. We have all of our 5 starters now. I mean, who are you going to replace? Christian Darrisaw. You have Ezra Cleveland. We just re-signed Garrett Bradbury. We brought in Evans or Ingram. We drafted him last year. Now he's the other guard, and we have the best right tackle in football in O'Neal.
Yeah, I'd draft a guard personally. Like just to have them, just to draft a guard. When you're at a place like the Vikings are, right, where like you've just come off a season where you've got 13 wins, like you're just adding depth and you're just adding pieces, right?
Yeah, but even when our guys went down last year, our depth stepped up and played. So I think we're good at offensive line. I think people are just shocked to hear the Vikings finally say that.
have a decent.
That's where it comes in, is that people are actually shocked that, oh yeah, the Vikings have depth at their offensive line, because a lot of the guys Spielman drafted are real solid swing backups, but weren't. He drafted 2 good starters and 3 good starters, and then, our regime came in and filled the gaps. And I think our weakest link was center, but Bradbury played really well last year on a prove it year and was top 10 in PFF for centers, which I was shocked at.
Yeah, let's see what let's see if he can keep that. Let's see if he can keep that going. I hope for you he can. There is no reason why he can't keep that going, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I hope he keeps it going, and there's no reason.
Brendel, I think, they're already, like, if he doesn't work out, we have the guy we think can replace him too. I think we drafted him 2 years ago. He played really well. We have Chris Reed just in case too. Yeah. So I think it's odd that, or not odd. I think it's good that they have 2 guys that can play 3 positions on the line for the guards, and then they have 2 swing tackles too. So I think that's, don't get me wrong, neither of our backups are ever going to replace the the tackles we have, though, because O'Neal and Darrisaw are balling.
2 top 5 tackles in the NFL.
Which, like I said, nobody ever thought it's very strange to even hear the Vikings say, "Yeah, we got a pretty good offensive line." It's so odd to hear that shit.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun to play behind them next year. Shall we move on to a division where we know a little bit less about in the AFC North?
Yes, let's talk some AFC North. We guess we're starting with the Steelers.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, the Steelers need a nose tackle, a D end, a defensive tackle, an offensive tackle, an inside linebacker, maybe a corner and receiver. That's all the Steelers need right now.
Yeah, the Steelers need to just fix their entire team. I've just got written in massive letters offensive line. Just the entire offensive line needs to be rebuilt. For the first time ever since I've been watching them, they could do with a defensive line help.
Yeah, they couldn't stop the run for the life of them at the end of the year last year.
For the first time that I've ever seen the Steelers, they need a defensive line desperately. Now with Sutton gone, they could really do with a cornerback.
They did bring in Patrick Peterson, but I don't know. That's a 1-year rental.
Yeah. Yeah. Does Patrick Peterson change life in the Steelers secondary? Like Patrick Peterson is really good, like really, really good.
Like I said, I still think they need to pick up corners, but they did bring in Patrick Peterson.
To start with, Minka Fitzpatrick's still there, I guess. They really just need everything, don't they? And if it was me,
especially on the defensive line was rough.
Yeah, and if I was them, I'd be taking a punt on a late round QB as well. So a guy like
you're not sold on Kenny Pickett?
Was anybody truly sold on Kenny Pickett coming into the draft?
The Steelers?
If Kenny Pickett, he's not worth a first round pick. I thought it was crazy taking him first round, but they needed that's a necessity quarterback pick. And
it sounds like they love that kid though.
Yeah, definitely. It has to come to a point where it becomes a little bit about talent, right? And Kenny Pickett is got the best temperament in the world. It's going to be behind that offensive line, not too bad, not horrendous. And I blame the offensive woes last year solely on Matt Canada. Actually, team needs offensive coordinator. Just make the offense look like it hasn't walked straight out of 1962 would be awesome. But you look at Kenny Pickett and you think, if Kenny Pickett was in this draft, would he not be spoken about in the same breath as guys like Stetson Bennett? Is he not kind of in this year, he's a 4th, 5th, 6th rounder, like Kenny Pickett?
I like Kenny Pickett more than that, but no, I wouldn't want Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. So is it not worth, are the Steelers not in the Hayden Hooker conversation?
I don't think they're going to do anything with quarterback.
Yeah, I don't. They have too many holes everywhere else, but if I'm them, I'm looking.
Even if they didn't have holes, I think they're sold on Kenny Pickett. I really do.
Then they're crazy. I hope that Kenny Pickett comes out and proves me wrong. It's not that I don't dislike Kenny Pickett. It's just... it's not that I don't dislike Kenny Pickett. That was a triple negative. That was crazy. I like Kenny Pickett. That's a better way to put it. I like Kenny Pickett as a prospect, as a guy. Fine. First round pick, maybe a bit too much. Do you not maybe want to go? I guess you have the 5th-year option on Kenny Pickett. Now's probably not the best time, but for me, I'm looking. For me, I'm bringing another quarterback in for Kenny Pickett to compete with.
I don't have a problem with that, but the one thing on Kenny Pickett is he still throws better than Justin Fields.
So yeah, that's probably not wrong.
Cleveland Browns, they just made a big move signing Delvin Tomlinson. I can't speak. Mm-hmm. So they're set at D tackle now, but I still think they need a wide receiver, inside linebacker, D end, and corner.
Yeah, definitely. I'm taking. Do you know what? I'm also taking edge help. For Myles Garrett to actually Myles Garrett.
Yeah, that's why I said they need a D end.
Yeah. Myles Garrett needs somebody finally to help him out. Myles Garrett has crazy QB pressure stats, and if they have a guy on the other side those QB pressure stats turn into sacks more often, and he still has crazy sack statistics. Like Myles Garrett is unbelievable, but he's been carrying that defensive line for so long. But yeah, I'm definitely on the lookout for a wide receiver as well. If I'm in the market for a free agent wide receiver, although they don't have any cap space because Deshaun Watson's costed them a lot
They
of money
did.
this year.
They freed up 35 million with Deshaun Watson moving all that money.
Yeah, is Deshaun Watson now worth? Deshaun Watson now becomes worth a 60 million next year, doesn't he?
63 point something for the next 3 years.
Point something. 63 point something. That's a lot of money. But to be fair, that's what they're going to have dressed up in Dak Prescott next year in Dallas as well. But they're definitely in the market for somebody like they're in the market for a Quentin Johnson, a Zay Flowers, those kind of guys, Jordan Addison, like somebody opposite Amari Cooper would go great for them. They're stuck with Deshaun Watson now. So they need to make him look the best that he possibly can.
Yeah, they need all the help they can get with him there. I still think they'll have a shot at pushing in this division and for the playoffs, but Deshaun, it's all going to fall down to how Deshaun Watson plays, and is he going to play like he did last year, or are we going to see the Deshaun Watson from the Texans?
Yeah, and I mean, they don't have a first-round pick this year, do they? So all my wide receiver predictions for them will be off the board by the time they pick. So they don't have a lot of draft room. Like they have 30 million in draft room for this year, but overall not loads of draft space next year. Capital, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I don't think they pick until 40 something. So for the first pick.
So they don't have any. So they don't have any draft capital, and they don't have a lot of cap room for the years coming. So it'll be interesting to see how they improve any of those spots.
All right, let's talk some Cincinnati Bengals, who definitely need a safety, inside linebacker. Desperately. They could go with some offensive tackle help. They need a corner, and if they don't get a deal done with Joe Mixon, they're going to need a running back.
For a team that is as good as the Cincinnati Bengals, and it's going to be the same for the Buffalo Bills when we get to them. For a team as good as them, they have a lot of holes this year. Just Joe Burrow covers up a lot of holes for your team. How can he cover up these holes on defense is the question. Their secondary is about to fall apart. It's already fallen apart with Bates and Von Bell both going. So they need corners and they need safeties desperately. They drafted Daxton Hill last year, so maybe he steps in to get that up. Joe Mixon, the Joe Mixon stuff is really weird because I seem to be lost in this memo that Joe Mixon is not a good running back anymore. I seem to have missed this.
It's not that he's not a good running back. He wants big time money though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're going to have to pay Chase. You have to pay Higgins. You have to pay Burrow. Like, do you pay Joe Mixon?
No.
That's where I said they might have to look for a running back if they can't find. I like Joe Mixon. I was wrong on this take, but I wanted Mixon over Dalvin Cook when they were coming out.
Yeah, and I mean, they saved $10 million by cutting Joe Mixon this year. Like if they release Joe Mixon now, they save $10 million.
See, I don't think they'll get rid of him this year, but I think if you're going into the draft, you find a guy to replace him next year.
Yeah, definitely. They've got too many holes to pick.
That's a great thing with running back. You can do that in late rounds.
Yeah, they can pick it. They can pick that up nice and late. But they're definitely in the cornerback market during the draft. They're a team as well that always seems to be in the edge market. Like they always seem to need an edge rusher. Like I don't think me and you have done these shows now for 3 years, and I don't think we've ever done the Cincinnati Bengals without saying they need help on the edge.
Right.
So yeah, and their offensive line process last year was really, really good, and their offensive line should be a lot better this year. But if that doesn't happen, they should probably be drafting a guard at some point in the 4th round.
Yeah, I
that.
think that should be a depth thing, but they
Yeah.
should address depth at the offensive line.
Yeah, 100%. It's not like how they've gone into offense. It's not like how they've gone into drafts and free agency before, where we've got written in massive capital letters offensive line. Yeah, and always, as always, just because is T Higgins staying? Are they trading away? I know that
They
was
say they're going to keep him, and
a
so
rumor.
they kind of like laughed at the idea of letting him go.
I don't know why they would let him go, to be honest. But yeah, I think that all works out really well. That means they don't need, probably one of the only teams that I don't have wide receiver written down for.
Yes, and then moving on to the last team, the Baltimore Ravens. I think their needs are obviously every year wide receiver.
Yep,
They
massive
need
capitals.
corner. They need an edge. So if you guys want Za'Darius when he spurned you and came with us last year, call. We'll trade him to you. I think they could use a left guard, and now I think they might need a quarterback.
Yeah. So the Lamar Jackson question is number one, isn't it? Like, their team need is finding out what the fuck is going on with Lamar Jackson and then move from there. Like, do you know what? If I'm the Baltimore Ravens, I'm disappointed if I'm losing Lamar Jackson. Like, I'm hurt by losing Lamar Jackson if I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, like that's just the way it's gone. We don't have to pay that cap. We can go back, get guys on rookie deals now, go back in for that. I mean, this year, like last year, sorry, Tyler Huntley has done a good enough job. Like a good enough job where it won't look like you're out and out tanking and get in trouble with the league if you're starting with Tyler Huntley. Like you'll still probably get some wins just because of how well run your organization is. And you'll get some draft capital for Lamar Jackson. So if Lamar Jackson's leaving, I'm not as heartbroken as I was about it 2 months ago if he is leaving. But at the same time, I'd rather he stayed and I gave him a wide receiver. Yeah, so wide receiver, that's really the question, isn't it? That's the only desperate need they have is wide receiver.
They could use some help on the edge too, and in the with the corner.
They seem to have a real habit of picking up crazy edges like D linemen in the draft and just turning them into really great prospects. So I'd probably hit the draft.
Want Za'Darius as bad as they wanted him last year. Call.
If I'm the Ravens, I'm hitting the draft for the defensive line.
And just remember, he had 10 sacks last year, so call.
Yeah,
he had like 35 quarterback pressures too. So, hey, second round pick, he's yours. Give us a call.
Yeah, I'm also team need revamping my entire medical staff.
Yeah,
at the Ravens. Same with the 49ers, injured all the time.
Even though the 49ers on that grading report love theirs, and the Ravens are the only one who gave theirs like an F.
Yeah, like do the 49ers love them because like they don't make them rehab?
No, the reason they love them is because your strength coach is the guy who gets you hyped.
Right.
And so, like, he's the good dude. Everybody loves your strength and conditioning coach because he's fun. He works with you. He gets to know you. He's a good dude that I have a beer with this guy. It has nothing to do with the rehab. It has to do with they all like the guy because that's part of their job is to be likable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Though it's hard to shit on somebody you like.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Ravens could really do with looking at their medical staff this year. Like it's piss poor. Like it's really, really bad. And the Ravens are going a totally different route this year. So Greg Roman is no longer their offensive coordinator. Lamar Jackson might not be their quarterback anymore. So go get some fucking wide receivers is really quite important.
Sitting there going, fuck yeah.
Yeah, Cincinnati's like, okay, cool. We've got control of this division for another year.
And with Lamar gone, it might be another 5 or 6 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, Cincinnati can dance, like can like dice up their secondary positions until they found something by the time they get to the playoffs. Like that, like they can just take as many fucking people in secondary positions as they want to until they reach the playoffs and just mince them in.
We are so early into free agency. A lot of these positions of all the teams we talked about are going to get filled, and people get upset right away. Well, it wasn't the big name guys. I love what the Vikings are doing. We haven't signed anybody over the age of 26.
Yeah, and if you're a Bengals fan, like really, you don't. like the reason your offensive line got fixed is because you didn't just go out and get the biggest name guy. You waited.
Right.
So like you're looking, they did
Second
a
wave
great
guys
job.
are usually the best value in free agency because a lot of times big name guys come over and they don't fit right in the system or they get paid and don't play the same. A lot of things don't work out with free agents. So by going with those mid-level guys, and I love the idea. I said to you last year, now they didn't listen, but I said nobody over the age of 27. Remember when I was telling you the Vikings signing people? This year we have not signed anybody over the age of 26 so far. I
Yeah,
like
that's
it.
good.
We're out of cap hell. We have actual cap space right now and still have 90 million going into next year with the moves they made, even with the restructuring of Kurt and pushing it back. And they set it up so that he third day after the league years when he's released. So it means you get the full 2 years of the void. So 8 years, 2 years in a row on a void deal. If he resigns, you don't eat that. If he does, you can handle that because you have 90 million in cap space and move on. I love what the Vikings are doing. I like what the fucking Lions are doing.
Yeah.
I would have kept Rodgers one more year, but I like the pace that the Packers are going. I'm still real questionable on the Bears. I'm real questionable on the Ravens. I like what Cincy's doing. So like there's a lot of good stuff. I think the Browns, I like what they're doing, but I think they fucked themselves with Watson, so I don't know how you come out of that. But for the most part, I like all the moves that are being made by these teams, except for maybe a couple of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dallas Cowboys have, I was just looking at safeties there while you were talking, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, Donovan Wilson. Like Donovan Wilson would be a good person for the Bengals to pick up because it'll be cheaper than Bates.
Well,
But the Cowboys have franchise tagged Tony Pollard, and Donovan Wilson has just re-signed with the Cowboys on a 3-year deal for $24 million.
you want to do NFC and AFC East next?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
Anything
We're
else
really
before we let these great people who are watching out of here since we kept them for a little over an hour?
Go look at the roast that OTH did if you didn't watch our podcast yesterday, and go watch our podcast yesterday if you didn't go watch our podcast yesterday, where we talk about the free agent moves in the carousel.
And check out MMA Underground tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. We got Prince KT and E Money on. Everybody's getting ready for the huge Super Bowl event at the Hot Box. So that'll be a great conversation tonight.
Like, subscribe, hit the bell. I've heard like the bell is apparently really important.
Yeah, you get
so
the
hit
notifications. You don't miss any show.
Yeah, and we're moving into doing loads of shows, man. So make sure you have the bell hit.
Yeah, we're hitting that hot spot now for the NFC or NFL offseason. So we'll be back with you tomorrow with the NFC East and the AFC East. Thanks for watching. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.